Hey everybody, this is BT Stu. I wanted to make a quick video, something just to help anybody out that's struggling, a easy way to see pips and see where to enter trades. Okay, and I know like when you're looking at this stuff, sometimes it's hindsight's 2020, but I wanted to just to see a few things and why some things don't work and others do. But you know I'm just gonna highlight a few things here. Let me get this. Get this because I just want to circle a few things. All right, when I come into the room, one of the first things that I do is I always look for, previous supers like with a trend. Okay, and I just want to point this out to you. And I mean, maybe you just haven't really looked to see this, and to see how it happens. But for instance, okay, there's a previous super. And look what happened. Okay, so it's going down, came back to the orange road. So right here, came up to the orange road, and then it just continued on down. Okay, and as you can see, this happens all over. Here, you even had just a pink here. You had the blue, came up against it. As soon as it got back to the orange road, what it do? Just continued on down. All right, and this is all over the place. Now, the reason why that doesn't work, all the time is because as you can see here, you have this one down with the trend down. Okay, so you're saying, okay, well, I'll wait for it to come back up here. All right, now it would have just went down from this point on if you didn't have higher time frames with supers going against them. If there was nothing there, or maybe just a small red, and especially if there's nothing there, then it's just going to go down right off of that orange road. So I mean, it's really that simple. And I mean, it's everywhere. It's on every time frame that this happens. Of course, on the daily, you can't see if there's a weekly arrow against you. But just I mean, look at that move. I mean, it goes down, comes back up to the orange line, and then with that previous super, it just tells you that it wants to go further, that it's going to go ahead and break that BB band, that daily BB. So now you've got blue set in everywhere. So now I understand that, like, now there's going to be some changes, and then that's why this one didn't work too, just because of it. Now everything is going up, and once all these blues set, chances are that, like, if you trade like John Wick or anything, you can go to blue on some of these things. So but it just all depends on the signals that you see. But when you see what I'm talking about, here you got, slight trend down. You got a previous super, comes back up to the orange road, just keeps on going down. Here you go, got the orange roads going down. It's a downtrend. You have the previous arrow here, goes down, back up the orange road, goes down further. And what I'm getting at is that there's continuous pips here. And easy. So it's like just looking at this real quick. If we're looking at this right now, we got blues set in. We have a previous 4-hour blue. And now there's nothing else. I mean, a previous 4-hour super. So there's nothing else below this. So, right now, there's nothing saying that this is going to go up. So let's just see what happens here. I suspect that it will come close to this or get to this 4-hour, and then it will bounce, because it will be a bounce. For sure there'll be a bounce because there's a previous super. And I'll just flip through. I don't know. Oh, we got to get this cleared off of there and switch my... But, and there it is. It's coming up. It's trying to get there. And when it gets there, if there's nothing super here, or, this turns to, a blue red, or the pink shows up, you're safe to take that down. There's a red, yellow. Still doesn't matter. This is with the trend, and it outweighs anything, in my opinion. To at least be able to take that trade right there. I'm not saying you can't take it forever, but I mean, look at the pips that were involved there. There was 40 pips in that trade, and it was a certainty for me that it was going down. Now, I didn't know how far down it was going. Then when it gets to certain areas, you reevaluate and you look at what's ahead of you. you know, you do have that red yellow. It's going to want to continue to play in there, but you know, so it might have a little bit of back and forth. But what I'm getting at, when it got to that point and you saw this up here, I mean, it was, you know, guaranteed pips. So I want you to take a look at that and like actually go through a lot of these videos and just go back and look. I mean, even when it's a small red, I mean, this happens all the time. You know, it goes down, back up to the orange road, and then just continues on down. And you know, it's every time that they have previous arrows, just because they outweigh the arrows against the trend. And BR has touched on this a few times in a couple of his videos if you really paid attention. So I mean, it's just like this. Okay, again, back up, hit this orange road, continues down. You know, it's just because these are so powerful. And you know, and there's no blues down there, so it's just, you know, going back off the orange road. I was trying to see if there's any other ones around. You know, here again, same thing. Previous, you know, orange road is pointing down. You're below the 4 hour, just comes up, hits the 4 hour, back down. You know, it happens on the 8 hour. I mean, you can just go through tons of videos. Here it is again, comes down. You know, pretty much finishes probably right underneath the orange road, and then, you know, pulls the orange road down with it. But I mean, it's just over and over again. So I just wanted to point that out, and hopefully you guys, you know, will pay attention to this. And it's like the very first thing I look for when I get in the room, just so I can kind of get an idea of what's been going on before, you know, where the trend's going, and it gives me an idea of like what I'm looking for. You know, for me, like I said, with this GU, it was with the blues and everything, I knew that it was going to bounce, you know, good, you know, a good size bounce off of that 4 hour. And so I was looking for that. You know, and sometimes it's on the 1, you know, it just all depends. But, you know, and this being on the daily was, you know, that was an amazing move down. But when there's all those previous supers, I mean, it's telling you something, and especially when they're on multiple time frames like this, you know, here, you know, that you know, this down move is going to continue to go. I mean, it takes a lot to turn that around. You know, and these blues are a good sign that, you know, now something's coming and it's going to start turning around and going up. But again, like I said, just go through videos and really look at all those supers and then the next candle and see what happens. I mean, when there's a trend down like this or a trend up, whichever way, you know, just like here again, you know, super, you know, previous, and then it just right off the orange road. And especially like if it's already down like this, like it's a low arrow like that and not outside the band, you know, it's right on the orange road. When it gets back to the orange road, I mean, it just continues on down. So I just wanted to point that out to everybody. You know, go through a bunch of videos, you know, start looking at them and seeing them. Because, you know, the great thing about these is these are set in stone. So it's like this one, you know, this is flat, you know, and what's against it at that point in time? Well, you know, why this didn't work, one, it's very flat. You know, pretty much similar like to why, you know, this one didn't work. It's because look at all that was, there were time frames that were, you know, the higher time frames were coming down. So anyway, like I said, again, just go through some videos, look at all those, you know, start being aware of them, you know, write it down that, you know, the first thing that you do, you know, is look for, you know, kind of the orange road and the trend, and then look for previous supers. And that'll give you an idea of kind of where things are going. Like I said, and every time you get to a band, you know, you've got to be, you know, aware of what's going on at the bands, because things can change, your bias can change. But when you have at least a starting point, and, you know, Jazz talks about this all the time, that, you know, if you know where it's going and you have an idea to when you're going to start looking for to take this down, that if I was waiting for this move the whole time, one, if I know it's going there, I can take it up to there. And then once it gets to that point, I start looking at these. I mean, there's your heads up that, you know, it's wanting to come down, multiple attempts at trying to come down, and then, you know, it finally goes. But, you know, right there, you know, being at around the 50, you know, mark, you knew that was going down. Anyway, again, this is BT Stu. I hope this helps anybody that's having any trouble. You can always get me in the room, ask me or Jazz. You know, we're there to help. I'm not always in the chat, but, you know, I see a lot. I just don't talk a lot because I'm busy doing other things and trading at the same time. So I hope this helps everyone, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.